Hi there, Stampin' friends. In this video I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful leaves using Stampin' Up's Autumn Accent die. Today we're going to be focusing on this leaf, the maple leaf. Here's a card I made and put together with these leaves. Okay, let's get started. With Daffodil Delight, I've punched out 2 of the maple leaves. I'm just going to pop them out here. And I've done 1 in Whisper White cardstock. We're going to begin with using the Daffodil Delight. We're going to use our piercing pad and the stylus that comes with our scoring tool. I'm going to start at the bottom of this, or the top of the bottom of the stem, and I'm just going to score a line to the tip. And then about 3/4 of the way down and back up, and then to this side. Then I'm just going to go ahead and start scoring from that center line out to where the leaves are, to the tips. And then I'm just going to add these scores. They don't have to be perfect. And add just a few more here that to make it look a little more natural. I went on a leaf hunt and just kind of compared what I saw in real life. I'm going to go ahead and do this next one quick. Just score from that center line out. You can press fairly hard. Stampin' Up cardstock is excellent weight and withstands the pressure of the stylus well. Okay, so we have those 2 done. We're going to set this aside, set our white one aside. I'm going to begin with more mustard ink and a sponge on top of this Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to sponge the whole leaf around all the edges good. I noticed that when I scored in, that after I sponged it, that the lines stood out better. Okay, now we're going to switch over to some Always Artichoke. And we're just going to sponge some of that on this leaf. Make it as light or as dark as you want. And I'm going to add some Cajun Craze. I stayed just kind of with the fall palette. This kind of brightens it up a little, darkens it up a little. And around the edges, I'm going to sponge Early Espresso. This actually kind of, when they're all done, it makes them look like the real leaves when they're starting to turn on the edges and they start to get brown and crisp. Now that I've added that, I'm going to take, she'll lift that out, the Early Espresso, and I'm going to use this watermark stamp that comes from the foliage, French foliage. I'm just going to stamp that off and then stamp onto my leaf. This makes a real subtle, oh, there I forgot to stamp off, a real subtle image on there. And I'm going to take the Early Espresso marker and my spritzing tool, and I'm going to add just a few speckles to this. So once you've got your leaf all done, I'm going to shake up this bottle that I've mixed up alcohol and rubbing alcohol and the shimmer paint, champagne shimmer paint. And I'm going to spray that. Can you see how pretty that is? The shine that comes, and those colors just really are vibrant. Do both sides, the front and the back. And once you've got that leaf all shiny and pretty, we're just going to take it and we're going to crumple it up just as tight as I can crumple it. We're going to uncrumple it. And if I see a spot that I think is a little flat and it's not as crumpled, I just scrunch it back up. This really adds a lot of dimension to your leaf. I noticed that the stems in real life curl under, so I'm going to curl that. And I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. But the next one I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to start with the more mustard. And I'm going to sponge that again. Just go around the whole thing, add a little shading. Now I'm going to skip the Always Artichoke and go to the Cajun Craze. And I'm going to sponge that. Leave a few highlights. And once I've added that, I'm going to go to the Riding Hood Red. And I'm going to sponge some of that on. I'm using all the old style ink pads. I don't have any of these colors in the new firm foam pads. I'm going to sponge around the edge with the Early Espresso. I'm going to add my watermark. This time I think I'll do it in the Riding Hood Red. And this time I'm not stamping off. I just stamp directly from the ink pad onto the paper. The spritzer tool again, and Early Espresso. Then on this leaf, I'm going to take the Always Artichoke marker, the small tip. I'm just going to take my marker and I'm going to run up these lines that we made for the veins. Your marker kind of falls into that score line that you made with your stylus. And I'm just going to follow those lines up and mark them. It doesn't have to be perfect. When you crumple it, you lose just a little bit of this. And again, I'm going to take my shimmer paint, mist. Look at that. And I'm going to spray it on both sides. Crumple that up just as tight as I can crumple it. And I'm going to uncrumple it. And there you have a more orange, a brighter color. And then this next one I'm going to do this on Whisper White paper. I'm going to skip the stylus part, and I'm going to use darker colors on this. I'm going to make this look more like a red maple. So I'm starting with Always Artichoke, and I'm just going to sponge this around. I noticed that when I was looking at my scarlet maple that it has a green undertone. I'll start with that, and then I'm going to go to Bravo Burgundy, and I'm going to sponge that, and I'm going to do this fairly dark. You can see it's starting to turn a little bit. Then around the edges of this one, I'm going to take the eggplant, the Elegant Eggplant, and I'm going to sponge around that. And look what happens when you add that. back to the Earl Espresso again for around the edges. Okay, and I'll do my watermark in the Earl Espresso. And I'm not going to stamp off with this one either, I just do that solid. I'm going to use a spritzing tool. And spritz this with Earl Espresso. And then back to the shimmer mist again. Both sides. See that sparkles? A fun thing I noticed when I was on my leaf hunt was the sun was really bright, and when I picked up the leaves, when the good Lord created these, He made them with shimmer mist. You'll see a shimmer when you look in bright light all over the leaves. Curl that little stem. And there you have it. 3 beautiful leaves. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you're inspired by it, and you'll go out and do a little investigating on your own and create some beautiful leaves. Have a great day.